Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
So this guy in St. Petersburg, Florida, was working in his yard when he was startled by a late model car that came crashing through his hedge and ended up in his front lawn. He rushed to help an elderly lady driver out of the car and sat her down on a lawn chair, and he said with great excitement, "You appear to be quite elderly to be driving." "Well, yes, I am," she replied proudly. "I'll be 97 years old next month, and I am now old enough that I don't need a driver's license anymore." He said, "You don't need a driver's license anymore?" "That's right," she said. "The last time I went to the doctor, he examined me and asked if I had a driver's license. I told him yes, and handed it to him. He took scissors out of the drawer, cut the license into pieces, and threw them in the wastebasket, saying, 'You won't need this anymore.' So I thanked him, and I left." Here's Kate Smith. God bless America. And then a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all great 7 locations right here in southern Idaho, and we thank them very much, along with some of our great advertisers that include, of course, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. So good morning to everybody. Good morning to the one, the only, the lovely, the great. Hello, Gina.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Not bad. How are you today?
You know, I am doing pretty good for a Thursday. Not going to complain at all.
I have increased my walking on my legs somewhat, and things are progressing well, so I'm very happy about that.
Oh, that is good news. So now you can do at least one lap around the house?
No, don't go too crazy on me, lady. Let's not make it into a NASCAR race.
Well, it'll eventually get there. You know this.
I hope so. Do we have a pledge this morning?
Actually, I'm going to do the pledge, and then we have Michael Rogers on for the weather.
Oh, very good. Go ahead, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And that was very well done. Thank you very much. Good morning, Michael Rogers, weather.com.
Good morning. 41 degrees, feels kind of balmy out there. 38 days before we get to spring. As far as the weather is concerned, no real major changes with the wet pattern that we're going through. You're going to get a break today, and then you pick right back up where you left off tomorrow going into Sunday. Temperatures are even going to get a little milder as you work your way toward the weekend. 48 for the high today. Then you get into the 50s. Could see 57 by Saturday and also on Sunday. So otherwise, it's a wet event. It is in the form of rain. 38 days till spring. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Excellent weather forecast. MichaelRogersWeather.com. I think it's time to sell some cattle. Here comes Merv May.
All right. right, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32.
Oh, big sale day today at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-9411. Merv May, Lance Udy, and the rest of the crew serving you. Big sale starting at 10:30 today. A real good sale. And Fred Garrett, my old buddy from Buell and Death, Nevada, bringing up 110 head of bred cows. They pregged them yesterday, as a matter of fact. And they're going to have lots of good butcher cows going through the ring today. And Kelly Searle from Burley brought in 40 head of Holstein steers. And as usual, you can expect a lot of cattle consignments going through that trailer line when they come into the sale today, starting at 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. For more information, call 678-9411. Thank you, Cade, for all the information. Sale time 10:30. And Merv, sell those steers, please.
All right, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, and 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I selling $1.35. Zeb Bell, get bottom again.
Well, that kind of a bottom I don't mind. Good morning, everybody. We got a lot of things to take care of today. At 8:30 this morning, we're going to have Senator Jim Patrick on the air, and we're going to talk about that ag-gag bill. And then later on in the next hour, United States Senator Jim Risch will be calling in from Washington, D.C. A lot of things going on today. Valley Wine Home and Ranch, don't forget they've got everything over there. Have you walked in that new store, the new addition to the store, and just stood there and looked around, looked over in the boot department, looked over in the clothing department, looked over in the tack department, looked over in the feed department, looked over in any department? They've got everything that you need. And right now, don't forget they got all your cabin items too. And 10% off until February 15th. So stop in and check out all your purchases for the home, the farm, and the ranch at Valley Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Steve and the rest of the crew serving you, and they got a special going on for Valentine's Day. We're going to talk about a little bit later on, so don't you miss it, okay? It is also Valentine's Day weekend, and we want to mention to you some really nice businesses that can help you maybe with your lovey, get a little gift, you know. The Goody Shop, 133 West Main in Burley. These folks really put together some great Valentine's Day baskets, and they range from $18 to $30, and for kids, $9 and up. They can put all kinds of items in there. Oh my goodness, they do a fantastic job, and they've also got great sandwiches and salads. The Goody Shop, 133 West Main in Burley, 647-0106. And don't forget, too, the Drift Inn, 545 F Street in Rupert. Oh, the perfect weekend getaway. You better call and see if they've still got one of those suites ready for you. They've got 6 spacious, newly remodeled suites available for overnight guests. All you have to do is call 436-1300. And don't forget the excellent menu. The dining is fantabulous at the Drift Inn, 545 F Street in Rupert. All right, now it's time for some calls. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. They laughed, and they joked, and they mocked as they were let out of an Afghanistan prison. And they were let out into freedom, very possibly to go kill and maim through bombing again. 65 terrorists with American blood on their hands were let go by the worthless weasel Hamid Karzai, who, by the way, and this just makes me so mad, and I'm going to mention this to Jim Risch later on this morning, this United States of America, our country, has given $90 billion, listen to me, $90 billion with a B, in aid to this country, to Hamid Karzai, and now the man, it is confirmed, is working with the Taliban. In other words, America's leaving, I better protect my you-know-what, so I'll go side up with bad guys. We have given him $90 billion in money. We have given him American blood, sweat, and tears, and lives. And I said this the other day, and I'll say it again. And I'll bet you there's a lot in the audience that feel exactly the same way I do. Just give me 2 minutes in an 8x8 room with this little weasel. Just a little bit of satisfaction. to get a chunk of flesh from this man that has been two-faced, taken our money, taken our soldiers, and now is siding with the Taliban. How absolutely disgusting. And where is the outrage from Washington? Where are the cutbacks? Where's Secretary of State John Kerry? Where is our illustrious president? Caller, I'll be with you in a moment. Stand by. Don't forget, I want to talk a little bit about Ramsey Heating and Electric. Holy cow light bulbs. Not light bulbs that are named Holy Cow, but I mean they've got a lot of light bulbs. Holy cow! They've got them in 40, 60, and 75 and 100 watt incandescent light bulbs. And I'll tell you what, I'm stocking up on them. You bet I am. I'm not going to have the government tell me what I can and can't do in my own home. I'm going to have the incandescent light bulbs, and they've got boxes and boxes of them. I've got to get over to Burley and get some for me at Ramsey Heating and Electric, and they're located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. You stop in and check it out today. All your electrical needs right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
First, let me say that I'm with you 1,000% on your views on this, where this is happening over and over and over countries. You know, bless your heart, you're fighting the good fight, and I'm with you. But, you know, we sit here on the radio, and I guess we moan and groan and complain, and I'm one of them, and we moan and we groan and we complain, and rightfully so, but nothing's getting done, especially on the federal level. These people do what they want to do regardless of what you and I think. That's just fact.
Oh, I agree with you, and I'm totally upset about it. Like when I talked to Mike Crapo the other day, I told him the same thing. I'm very upset about this. Nothing seems to be happening. There's no outrage. But I'm not going to quit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to utilize every bit of anger that I have to attend different functions and get them right by the necktie and tell these guys, look them in the eye and say, I want something done. I can't quit because this country's been so good to me. This country has been so good to me and my family, and I absolutely have been blessed. If you think for 5 seconds I'm going to sit back and just let it slide by for my grandkids, ain't no way. I absolutely am going to stay outraged, and I'm going to tell these politicians they're as worthless as sand in the bottom of my boot if they don't start doing something.
Well, you know, and I'm with you. Don't misunderstand me, but let me add something to it. Even though we keep doing this and keep doing it, did I say keep doing it? And keep doing it, they're not scared of it. I hate to say it. I don't want to say it. But you know what? They're asking for a revolution.
Well, and they might not.
They're asking for a revolution if they don't get their poop in the pile.
I agree. I totally agree with you, and I'm going to stand right up and say, you know, if that's what it's going to take to put our country back to the constitutional and moral values that our forefathers and your brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and everybody fought for, then so be it. Because right now, we're being led down a path of leftist socialism that's killing this country.
Oh, man, I don't know what else to say short of revolution, because they're not listening. And until we go to Washington, D.C. as a whole country with pitchforks and torches, they're not going to understand it.
I agree with you. Sir, I'm not going to argue because I'm on your side, and you know my feelings. Thank you so much, and God bless you for your call. You know, you say the word, I know that we're being listened to by the NSA and all these other little dimwits that sit there with headphones on all the time. But, caller, I'll be right with you, I promise. But, you know, what are we going to do? We're not showing any force. The American public, we the people, the first 3 words of our Constitution are we're just being lulled into silence by politicians that do what they want instead of representing us and doing our beckoning. And it's going to take the spirit of what happened 200 plus years ago. It's going to take that kind of spirit to basically adjust their neckties to the point where they know they'd better change their ways. Caller, I'm coming. Just be right with you. Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental, and Eli and the crew wanted me to tell everybody they've got the Doosan heavy loaders and excavators. These dudes are tough. These dudes can get the job done, and I'll guarantee you they've got them in stock. They've got several of them in stock at 2 locations of Barry Equipment and Rental at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and the new location, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Asking for the opportunity to earn your business. You call my buddy Eli. Say, hey, Eli, I heard Zeb talking about you on the program the other day. What about these Doosan heavy loaders and excavators? He'll smile and he'll give you all the information. 732-7368. Barry Equipment and Rental, ready to serve you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great, and may I wish to you also a very happy Valentine's Day tomorrow, and I hope you get a whole bunch of candy and cookies and a whole bunch of cards, and everybody says they love you, okay?
Okay, but you need to tell my teacher to give us candy.
What's that?
You need to tell my teacher to give us candy.
I need to tell you, okay, well, I hope they have a happy Valentine's Day and share all the candy. Thank you so much for your call this morning. God bless you, and have a wonderful day tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That was nice. That was nice. Thank you very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There's so many crackpots and kooks going on around the world today. Did you hear that a nutty bunch of kids, punks, probably ranging in ages from 18 to 26, kind of like the crackpot Earth First crowd? Well, they went, and if you saw this video on television, I mean, my goodness sakes, it's no wonder that people aren't outraged and private property owners aren't putting up electric fences and maybe putting them up to 220 or whatever. Anyway, one of the CEOs from the Keystone Pipeline back in the Nebraska area, all of a sudden in the middle of the night, a bunch of these people, these crazies, showed up with paper bags on their head, with torches and everything, and they go up on this guy's porch and they demand, listen to this, they demand to him, the CEO, that he stop the pipeline and anything to do with any pipelines. And you know, these bright bulbs, they probably drove way out there to his place in a car, burning gasoline. But, you know, I am absolutely sick and tired of people taking advantage of these terrorist activities, and that's what they are. They're nothing more than low-life pond-scum terrorists, going onto private property, and right then, it's kind of reminds me of the song we play for Ken Mort, Who Let the Dogs Out? Well, I'll guarantee you that's when they should have had about 5 or 6 Dobermans in the yard, and who let the dogs out, and who cares? Because this is ridiculous to go up and bother, and the man was very polite. The man was very polite, but you know, to step outside the house when you've got these idiots wearing paper bags on their head and holding torches, you got to give him a lot of credit for being brave, possibly even bordering on stupid, because something could have happened. If I were him, I'd have just called the cops, stayed inside, and got him off his property, turned the lawn sprinklers on, whatever. That would have messed up their torches. But you got to do something. These people are absolutely going schizo. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, as you know, last month in January, we started our Zeb's Lunch Bunch over at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and I absolutely was impressed. Thomas and Terry and the whole crew, they just absolutely put out a phenomenal greeting to all my lunch bunchers. We had a fantastic crowd of about 50, close to 60 people, and it was wonderful. You can stop in anytime, all the time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And don't forget, if you are a senior, show your AARP card, 15% off your bill all day, every day at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. And our next Zeb's Lunch Bunch will be on February 27th. Don't you miss it. All right, got time for more calls. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I've had a lot of people call me regarding the shooting of the dog in Filer. Caller, stand by. I'll be right with you. For what I've read and what I've afforded myself to look at and study, I'm just going to make this very small statement. I've had a lot of people call me yesterday on the air and then last night on the phone, etc., for my opinion on this. And I'm just going to say this. The dog shooting in Filer could and should have been a much better and safer outcome. It should have had a much better and safer outcome. That policeman, Mr. Hassani, was not knowledgeable and I think absolutely discharged his weapon in a very dangerous location that could have ricocheted, hit others. There was a birthday party going on and all this other kind of information, right in a very, very urban setting with all the houses close by, etc. I think it was absolutely the wrong thing to do, and I'm going to have to take the side of the property owner, the dog owner, and others. This could have been eliminated with more common sense, much more common sense. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I'd like to go back to the Keystone.
Yes.
According to Channel 25 this morning, the reason why there's so much opposition to it is because many of you Democrats, they didn't specify whether they were politicians that own shares in competitive oil companies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's a dangerous situation when you've got millions of people out there on the road and you get a few Democratic politicians that have shares in competing companies can stop something like this.
There is no reason, Tony, and I've got to run and get a guy on the air here from our friends at Travelube, I should say a lovely lady, but I want to have you just answer this quick. Tony, there's no reason that the Keystone Pipeline isn't being approved, that Obama hasn't signed it. There are literally thousands of pipelines going through the central part of our United States. This one would be the most advanced with technology and safety, and I think it's absolutely asinine. It's nothing more than leftist political, environmental stoppage on a pipeline that we need that would lower our prices at the pump. And I think this president should absolutely be embarrassed for his lack of professionalism and knowledge as being a president for all the people that need help financially in this country.
Well, he has no embarrassment. This guy's out to destroy our Constitution and this country and turn it into a communist-style country. That's what he wants.
I can't argue a bit. I'm on your side. Thank you, Tony. God bless you and Mary. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got to go to the phone lines right now, and I think Gina's probably way ahead of me. I'm going to, right now, scoot over to Travelube Supply at 1050 West, 203 South of Hebron. Hello, Heather. How are you?
Well, this isn't Heather's, Zeb. It's Jerry.
Well, I was good.
My mustache is a little bit thicker than Heather's.
Well, I apologize, Jerry. I had no idea there'd been a switch, and I'm certainly embarrassed. You got a little egg on my face. But quickly, tell us what's going on over at Travelube Supply today. What have you got for specials you want everybody to know about?
Well, of course, we want them to know about those bubble ropes.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, some floor dry might be in order with the weather we're having.
Okay, you got the bubble ropes and you got the floor dry. And another thing that Jim told me about that we've been hitting really hard is you've got all the bolts, the metric and the standard bolts, and basically you'll keep everybody's bins filled. It's kind of like, have built, will travel type thing, right?
That's it. I'm the guy that brings you the bolts. And I am pretty nuts, so, that works too. We've got grade 5 and grade 8. So, the regular lag bolts, whatever you're needing, hex heads, we've got them.
Okay, and Jerry, by the way, if people don't have a bin set up in their shop, you've also got the bins too, is that correct?
We sure do, and I'd be happy to stop by and not only initially get them going, but also keep them up to snuff so that they're never short.
All right. Jerry over at Travelube Supply, 1050 West, 203 South of Hebron. God bless you, man. The number to call, they deliver the goods, 438-8730. See you, Jerry. Thanks much.
All right, Zeb, you have a great one.
All right.
Bless you too.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Real quick, we're going to get on now the Capitol Press Ag Minute. I'll be right back with Senator Jim Patrick.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capitol Press, the West Ag Weekly.
The 2014 Farm Bill brings fundamental changes in national dairy policy, giving dairymen the ability to protect their profit margins. But an economist warns that they'll need to stay abreast of the details still to be determined by the USDA and do their homework ahead of what could be a short sign-up period for the new margin insurance. Scott Brown, agricultural economist with the University of Missouri, says the program offers a new level of flexibility for producers. Producers should stay abreast of the emerging details and calculate the coverage levels they need. Brown said the Farm Bill requires the program to be established no later than September 1st, which suggests a July through August time frame for sign-up. This is Hannah Browse.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
Thank you very much, Capital Press. And right now we're going to go to the phone lines, and I'm very honored to have with us Senator Jim Patrick from the Twin Falls area up at our legislative session for 2014. Good morning, Mr. Patrick. How are you? Jim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I do. It's a little bit weak, but I turned my volume up.
All right. Well, it's nice to have you on the program this morning, Jim, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on our show and talk about this Senate Bill 1337, of which you're the author of this bill. And to simply put it, it's been called many, many names, some derogatory, but how would you phrase the bill 1337, and why did you write it?
Well, I had help in writing it, and we had lawyers involved, and we had the Attorney General involved in changing it to fit what we needed. But it's the Ag Security Bill is what we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And what it really accomplishes, and an attempt to accomplish, is wrongful entry and criminal trespass, theft of records, obtaining employment by wrongful means, and making recordings of workplace without the owner's consent, and intentionally interfering with farming operations. So it's a combination of things, broad-based, because of the problems that all of agriculture faces and in today's times. And being a farmer, I understand the need, and I have to disclose that on the floor so that they know that I am self-serving to a degree, even though it affects all, that I will.
Well,
it'll be on the floor today.
Jim, let me ask you this, and I absolutely applaud you for having this bill, and it's infuriated animal activists and the Humane Society of the United States and others, and the ACLU's all mad and everything. But you know something? For people to go onto other people's private property and film and basically edit and do what they want with tapes regarding animal use, they can turn anything into looking negative. And boy, when we start being legislated and dictated to by activists, agriculture is doomed. Go ahead and respond to that, please.
Well, exactly. And what happens when a video is taken and actually put on the air, so you're tried, convicted, and prosecuted or persecuted by the media. It has nothing to do with legal means, because in every case, as far as animal abuse, I know the owner of production animals will always turn in the individual, because it does hurt the production, and they'd be immediately fired as well. But I'm as well as concerned about row crop agriculture, because we do use GMOs, which some people don't like. We use chemicals, which some people don't like. And we have specialized seeds that we've developed, and it's taken time for seed companies, and there's a market to steal that and send it to foreign countries. So basically espionage, other things, and it's a safety thing as well. If they want to make a real point, they could go out to one of my fumigation sites, pull a hose off, put the water, chemicals in the ditch, and say, well, take a picture and say, look what this guy does.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that did to my reputation and to my markets?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Jim, let me ask you this. Does the bill have any teeth to it, so that if people are caught violating this law, if it goes into effect, that they'll wish they hadn't? I mean, is there enough teeth in the bill to make people cognizant they better not do this anymore?
Well, yes, especially when it goes too far. There's, if you just do it, there's a $5,000 fine and up to a year in jail. But the real teeth is if you sell this video and go after markets of the individual, which they have, they're up to double the damages. So if you shut down a dairy, for example, you're talking millions of dollars in damages. And these organizations have the money. They've got a lot of money they're dealing with. They probably pay it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the Humane Society, for example, has a $120 million budget. And so we're just small potatoes. And so I think the damages are very appropriate. Double damage is common in a lot of cases, and that's what's in this bill.
Okay, now the bill is going to be on the floor for a vote this morning, and tell me, look into your crystal ball. Jim, what do you think? Is it going to pass?
Well, I've got a lot of co-sponsors that we've worked as a group to put together. I do feel it will. I feel that we've talked to enough legislators. We have leadership that's agreeing with us. And it's going to be a long debate, I'm reasonably sure, because there's a lot of emotion with all the ads that's been run. And by the way, these animal abuse ads that were threatened before we wrote the bill. Mm-hmm. So if you write any kind of a bill protecting or trying to restrict this, we will run these animal abuse ads until we kill it. Mm-hmm. And they sent a letter to Mr. Betancourt in particular saying, you better stop that bill. Well, he says, I know this is going to hurt me, but it's the wrong thing to do. The right thing to do is do this legislation, and so I have to give him credit. He's taken the brunt of it.
You know, Jim, I think you'd agree with me that it doesn't make any difference if it's the dairy industry, it doesn't make any difference if it's the sheep industry, the hog industry, or, in my case, the horse industry. There are things and items and tools for training and use of animals that a lot of people don't understand because they haven't taken the time to find out. And if you let these activists basically come in and infiltrate your property, any and all agricultural functions, whether it's a 4-H, FFA, steer show at the fair, all of those could be under jeopardy of being shut down just because of these activists. Would you agree with that?
Well, I totally agree with that. And Homeland Security has identified some of the activist group as dangerous as Al-Qaeda as far as food safety. And not only all of our operations, but look at the hunters. They can start picking on them, saying, well, you shouldn't shoot Bambi. And they just have agendas again for a lot of different things. And there's groups, and they get a lot of money. And when you run, one of the reasons they run ads and run their pictures is it raises them money, lots of money. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to say. It looks good on TV, but I don't know how it was videoed. I don't know the whole story, and nobody does, and we can't prove anything. And that's the problem. You're tried and convicted, and you don't have a chance.
Well, that's right. And I have had, I'm not using the holy eye on this, but it's a fact that I've been particularly involved with fighting the Humane Society of the United States on numerous occasions for their false and absolutely inflammatory, very slighted viewpoints against the rodeo business. And we have to stand up. We have to have a unified voice, and that's why I commend you for authoring this bill, Senate Bill 1337, because I'll guarantee you we've got to draw a line in the sand, because if we don't, what would happen, in your opinion, if this bill fails and they are allowed to go on? I mean, agriculture could literally get shut down.
Good. And this is a fear of mine for all of agriculture in the U.S., because we don't know what happens in foreign countries, but they're trying to put us out of business here. They don't like what we do for whatever reason. There's different groups out there with different reasoning, but Humane Society is the biggest, and they have obviously gone after anything dealing with animals. And rodeos is a good example of where they're concentrating. They just haven't got far enough yet, but they will.
Absolutely. And
I think the thing that we worry about the most is a person coming in the guise of an employee. They have free reign of the property. Uh-huh. And so they can do whatever they want, and they can stage it or not. I don't know whether they do, but they can. The fear is they can cause a lot more damage than we would ever have from anyone else.
Absolutely.
I might mention I've had a lot of support from Magic Valley. And it's not what I look at it is in Magic Valley, we live around agriculture. We understand agriculture. And these groups that are putting this out are trying to get a lot of support from the urban areas that don't. And that's where the negatives come from, is the urban areas.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm from Magic Valley, but mostly it's Boise.
Absolutely. Jim, I wish you great success, and I'm going to follow this very closely. And again, God's blessings to you for your diligent work on Senate Bill 1337. I hope it goes through. I hope it moves forward. I hope the vote is in our favor for all livestock people and agriculture in general. But kudos to you for all of your effort, and I hope you'll come back on the program and talk to us again.
I will, and Gail Batt will be carrying it in the House, and she has a lot of good talking points as well, because seed industry is a big risk as well as animal. Yes, I would like to come back and explain how it works.
I'll look forward to it. And, Senator, thank you so much for your time. You're a super gentleman, and good luck this morning, and I'll be in touch. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Ed.
You betcha. Senator Jim Patrick, and I'll tell you something, folks, these insidious, hateful, lying, deceiving, absolutely under-the-table weasel groups like HSUS, don't contribute to them. Don't give them a dime. A dime. PETA, the rest of them. Pond scum. I have nothing but hateful things to say about them. I've witnessed what they try to do. I've witnessed what they attempt to do. I've witnessed many of the so-called videos they put together with, of course, a lot of editing. And I'll guarantee you they are out for all animal use. Let me repeat what I just said. All animal use they want stopped. They would be in a utopia if everything all of a sudden stopped. No more 4-H, no more FFA, no more horse shows, no more cattle shows, nothing. That is their goal. And they've got a lot of money behind them. It's time to stop them dead in their tracks right now. And I certainly hope Senate Bill 1337 does the job. Oh, well, let's take a look and see what else we got here. Oh, by golly, my good buddy Cordell Sheridan. He's going to have a 19th annual bull sale coming up March 1st at the Burley Livestock Auction Yard. He's going to be selling 70 head of bulls, Gelbvieh and Angus and Balancers, and Gelbvieh and Angus cross. I'm telling you what, these are ripping good bulls. 20 head will be coming 2-year-olds. 50 head will be big mature yearlings. And by the way, you talk about good cattle. I'll tell you what, their weaning weights are usually around 650 pounds. Ooh, yeah, range-raised bulls. And they have free delivery up to 300 miles. You better check it out on March 1st at the Burley Livestock Auction Yard. Cordell Sheridan and the Sheridan Ranch 19th Annual Bull Sale, 1 o'clock on March 1st in Burley. Gonna be ripping good. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Yesterday, I was absolutely shocked to hear that a young black attorney back east has formulated a lawsuit that is going to go against Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, all of the fast food restaurants. And it's going to be kind of like a class action lawsuit against all of them. Basically, it's nothing more than arm-twisting blackmail, to where they're either going to have to pay a big figure to a set-up fund for contributing to obesity and making people fat. Now, you're going to say, well, this will never get off the ground. Well, yes, it will. They're using the same concept that years ago they did against the tobacco industry and basically knocked the Marlboro man right off his horse. And this guy has this lawsuit ready to start in 16 chosen states. Now, the 3 states that are out here near us in the West are Oregon, Nevada, and California. And they're going to go to court just like with tobacco, and they're going to say that the fast food served at these restaurants is harmful and dangerous and causes obesity, and they're going to basically arm twist and blackmail these restaurants to, as a chain, either pay a huge sum of money into the pot to advertise to fight obesity, or they're going to try to shut them down. This isn't America anymore. Now, this type of lawsuit could dictate, this is the dangerous part right here, this type of lawsuit could dictate what or not we buy at a grocery store, going, like I said, at fast food restaurants down the road, or if we stop into a restaurant, they would have the power to regulate the restaurant menu, etc. What we have here is a total Mama Obama control of every single thing that we put in our mouth by government standards. And these stupid lawmakers, and they will legalize pot in Colorado and other states so that they can go, hey man, it's a cool day today, isn't it? And they're smoking pot, smoking grass, and trying to make other illegal drugs legal, but yet they're going to spend all this time and this money to regulate and enforce and dictate what we eat. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, next thing they'll be going after the truck drivers that haul the food.
Yep.
The farmers that produce the food, the dairymen, the sheep herders, and everybody that's involved. And, you won't even be able to buy a paper bag to put the food in.
Yep. I'm telling you, Jerry, it's got such wide range.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is. It is.
We protect our right to be able to eat. And, I'm a good example of being fat. I've been that for quite a few years. But, I think it's insane to go after the establishment. It isn't their fault. It's mine.
It's personal responsibility.
Or McDonald's or Wendy's or any of the fast food restaurants are to blame for that. I think I probably eat at one of them about twice a year.
Yeah.
They haven't contributed to my being fat. I've contributed to it by eating. They ought to just come after me because I'm the bad guy.
Well, wait a minute, Jerry. Wait a minute. There is no such thing as a bad guy in this situation. You have health problems and you've got mobility problems and a lot of things that you should be open and honest about that are contributing perhaps to not being able to exercise like you want to. But when we take away a person's personal responsibility in a free country to buy and eat and choose what they want, we have nothing more than a complete dictatorship, and we're like sheep going to slaughter.
Well, I think it's even worse than a dictatorship. Most dictators don't really care if they've got fat or skinny people. And, you have a lot more problems being underweight than you do being overweight.
That's true. I agree with that. So, I do agree with that. Jerry, God bless you for your call.
I hardly ever had a day I've regretted being fat because it doesn't really bother me that much.
Okay.
But, they ought to go after the critter that causes the problem. And like I say, I'm the one that causes the problem, not Burger King or any other restaurant in the country or my wife. It's me. I'm the one that cooks what I eat, or she cooks it and I eat it. I can push it back and say, hey, I don't want that. But, I don't do that. I just eat what I get, and that's where I go.
All right, Jerry, God bless you for your call.
I think he's going after the wrong guy.
I absolutely agree. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Jerry. Thank you very much.
You have a wonderful day, and may the Lord bless.
He already has. Time now for the weather, and it's brought to you this hour by Butte Irrigation, 116 South, 600 west of Paul. Bryce and the rest of the crew. And another location, brand spanking new, just a little bit north of Kimberly, right there at Red Cap Corner. Butte Irrigation, with the best of professionals helping you with your irrigation needs. They'll get you wet. Here's MichaelRogersWeather.com.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers for MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got a break today. We're going to pick up on that rain that you got yesterday, and you're going to pick up on it tomorrow. Feels like springtime, although we're about 38 days away from it. Temperatures are definitely going to be on the mild side today. 48 for the high today, 51 tomorrow, 65 the day after tomorrow. Might even see 57 as you work your way toward the weekend. But other than that, it's going to be a rain event, so enjoy the day. And enjoy the weather. The weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Butte Irrigation, 2 locations in Paul and the new one right there north of Kimberly on Red Cap Corner. Butte Irrigation, you betcha. With their professional people, they will get you wet. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Can you imagine a world, and we're really not that far away from it. Really, we're not. A world where the government dictates every single thing that you eat. The amount, the caloric content per day, what you buy at the store, and everything. We're not that far away from that when you think about it, because with various lawsuits going against, like, the fast food industry, going against the ice cream industry, going against the soda industry. You think about it. And we are very, very close to having a complete dictatorship as to what you can have. Let's say that, and this is possible, let's say you go to the grocery store. And they check out, and you got to have a little ID, and it shows who you are and everything. And they go, okay, you're 5'11" and you weigh 197 pounds. Oh, you're too heavy. Well, now here's all the food that you can have today in your grocery cart. We are getting to that example. And these lawsuits against these businesses, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, etc., just think about it. All they are is arm twisting and blackmail to contribute to a fund that they say is going to educate people about obesity, and you know doggone well that's not going to do anything. I'm worried about this situation. I really am. I'm not going to just poo-poo it off and say that nothing's going to happen. I'm going to watch this thing like a hawk because I honestly think that lawmakers are dumb enough to go ahead and pass something like this. Give us your thoughts. 436-224-1866-927-4587. Good morning. You're on the air. Talk to me, caller. Go ahead.
Oh, good morning, Zeb. I can hardly hear you. Obama has an agenda to accomplish what he wants, and this is class warfare, martial law, the disarmament of the American people, and then his installation of a Marxist-style government. This guy is a mixture of Adolf Hitler and Idi Amin. And he's going to do whatever it takes to destroy our country.
Well, and there's a leftist following of ideology with these kooks and crackpots, whether they're animal rights activists or whether they're food activists trying to extort money from various business and corporations. I mean, this whole thing is all a part of the left society, if you will, and how they're trying to make us little roboticized people that we can't do anything, say anything, or go anywhere without getting their permission. And I'll tell you what, it's amazing to me, Tony, that people haven't woken up yet and said, oh my gosh, it's happening.
He doesn't understand our Bill of Rights and our Constitution are being wiped away one piece at a time, one day at a time.
Absolutely. I agree with you, my friend. Thanks for your call again. I appreciate it. Thanks, Tony.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Oh, it's worrisome to me to see what's going on. It's so nutty. And I'm a little bit closer to it than most people because I have a chance every day to talk to the people that are involved in this 24/7, 365 in New York City, Washington, D.C., all over the country. And, you know, something else to worry about here. And I really commend this New Jersey Congressman, Chris Smith. He had the audacity and the nerve to do a little survey with his, he paid for it, I believe, out of his own pocket over the last couple of years with some of his staff members. And he said this morning on the news, New Jersey Congressman Chris Smith said that studies that he's been involved in for the last 2 years prove undoubtedly that there is definitely a war on Christianity. It's getting worse daily all around the globe. Christians are living in fear in many, many places. And radical Islam and communism hate Christianity so bad that they are the ones leading the offenses against Christians. And he said it's going to get worse not only around the globe, but especially right here in the United States. Folks, wake up. Smell the coffee. Don't forget the Great Big Founders Day celebration going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh my, best tire value promise in the industry, free lifetime tire and mileage care, the best brake value promise in the industry. Oh my goodness, they got professionally trained technicians, over 30 years experience, the best in brakes, the best in tires, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all there for you during the Big Founders Day celebration in honor of Mr. Les Schwab. What a great man and a nice man. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, and of course John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got time for another call? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, you know, this primary that's coming up is literally more important than the general election in Idaho. And, you know, if people would just, you know, learn and involve themselves and show up and vote. And, you know, there is some evidence that the liberals in this state is what I mean, that in this state the liberals, they had a more of an increase in voter turnout than we as conservatives did. Now, you see, that is not a good sign.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree.
You say, well, what is the solution? You see, we realize that there's a hell of a problem, and so many problems. For 5 years, 6 years, or whatever it's been, every morning when you're on the air, there's a new issue coming down the pike at us, and we just continue to wonder, is there any hope? Is there any at all, other than the resiliency of the American people and the business people to continue to go and do what they normally do? But you see, some people are very good business people, and they're good fathers and husbands, but they're not involved in politics. And some of these people carry weight. They have influence in their communities and across this nation who choose to not be involved. I know it's a tasteless fight. It's no fun.
Well, it's no fun, but I'll tell you something, Randy. I got to run to the news, but listen to me really close. Thank goodness for people like you that will speak their mind and they'll come out and say what they feel, because America, I'm telling you, we all have to start speaking up. We all have to start not asking, but we need to demand that our elected officials do as we wish, not what they want. They work for us. I can't impose that thought enough. Do not take your hat off and say, oh, please, sir. No, demand that they get the job done in honor of our Constitution.
Yes, and we can start here with the elections in Idaho in the primary, and we've got to show up.
Absolutely. Randy, I got to run to the news. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. We're going to take about a 6-minute hiatus and be right back. We've got all kinds of things coming up next hour. We got the Chamber Report, and then we've got United States Senator Jim Risch calling in. All kinds of goodies. I'll be back in 6. Oh, my. Welcome back. Hour number 2, Zeb at the Ranch. And, of course, we want to say thank you to our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, along with some of our great advertisers, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at, of course, Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Real quick, I want to remind everybody that when you think about life insurance, think about Cameron and Siemens. When you think about health insurance, Cameron and Siemens, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and much, much more at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Dean and Todd, dedicated and responsive to serving your needs, and make sure you're covered and protected. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really nice people. We're going to be going to the Chamber of Commerce report in just a moment, and stand by for that. And then right after that, Senator Jim Risch is going to be calling in. I want to remind everybody, too, about Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward, owner-manager, 710 6th Street in Rupert, and always providing the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort with the highest ethical standards and unquestioned integrity. Believe me, as I said many times on this program, they can help, they will help, and they are committed to serving you and your family. And when there's the passing of a loved one, they make sure that they always provide the comfort that you need. Please give them a call, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward and his staff at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Good morning over to the Chamber of Commerce office, and I'm not even going to hazard a guess because the last couple of weeks I've been wrong. I'm just going to say, enter and sign in, please.
Well, good morning, Zeb.
Hi, Kay Cameron. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. What in the world is going on with the Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, we just love this time of year. All this moisture has just been so great for our community, and we're just gearing up for all kinds of great things coming up in the summer, and looking forward to all of our visitors, and it's just an exciting time of year.
Well, now, do you have a fairly filled schedule for 2014?
Well, we're just always busy. There's just always things going on. You know, the community is so active, and there's so many great community events that take place, and you know, the Chamber, we just keep so busy with so many different things. We have our Chamber Luncheon today. We're very excited, as always, to have the opportunity to get together with all of the Chamber members and network and visit. And listened to a great presentation, and so we're looking forward to that today.
Well, now, coming up, you've got that great big ladies festivity, don't you?
We do. Our women's seminar is coming up. We've got that scheduled for April, and we're very excited about that. It's always a fun day out, and I know the committee's been hard at work and still trying to finalize our agenda and our schedule for the day, but we'll have more information about that in the future.
Okay. Anything else that's looming on the horizon that you want to give a plug to this morning?
Well, there's always a lot looming on the horizon, but most importantly, I just want to remind everybody out there to be sure and send some love to all of their Valentines tomorrow, as it is Valentine's Day, but this week is Random Acts of Kindness Week, and it's nationally recognized, and it's just a good time to remember to just do something, acts of kindness just out of the goodness of your heart for somebody that you know, and just let people know that you care.
Now that I really like. Random Acts of Kindness Week. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to be in a situation this afternoon and again tomorrow where maybe I can kind of pay it forward a little bit. I appreciate that, Kay. Thank you.
Yes, Random Acts of Kindness. If everybody out there this week, and you know, we shouldn't just do it 1 week a year. We should do it all the time, but just do random acts of kindness for others, because there are so many good people in this world and in this community, and we need to let them know that they're appreciated. And there's so many people that don't think that people care for them or appreciate the things that they do. So let's be sure and pay it forward and do random acts of kindness, and it will make you happy.
Absolutely. Kay Cameron at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. How can they get a hold of you at the office?
Come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hebron, and we can hook you up with a fabulous Valentine's Day gift. We've got some beautiful jewelry here, actually, for Valentine's Day. I didn't even think about discussing that, but come see our beautiful jewelry selection, and we'll take care of you for Valentine's Day. Stop by and see us. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us on the internet at minicatchchamber.com, or like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Thank you, Kay Cameron. God's blessings to you. Talk to you next Thursday.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, Kay Cameron, thank you very much. Gina, let me ask you, have I got time to do a commercial break, or is the senator on the phone?
He is on the phone.
He's on the phone. We'll do the break after that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to have with us this morning United States Senator from the great state of Idaho, Mr. Jim Risch. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
I am great. And by the way, before we start things off this morning, Jim, I want to congratulate you. The National Journal has released their rankings, and you have been named the most conservative senator once again. Congratulations, sir.
You know, Zeb, that's 3 out of 5 years that I've been here that I was number one. The other times I've been pretty close to number one. But, you know, the print journalists in Idaho, some of them's head, they're just exploding over this. They can't understand this. They can't stand it. Why? I don't understand how they think. Why wouldn't the most conservative state in America be represented by the most conservative senator in America? And, you know, of course. You know, that's... I do my best to represent Idaho people. I've held public office a long time. I think I know what they want me to do here, and yeah, I do vote conservatively. And I don't think that should shock anybody. I doubt they thought they were sending a liberal to D.C., but anyway, here I am. The even better one earlier in the week was the Congressional Quarterly, which is another highly respected publication back here, and it isn't right or left, it's neutral, and they listed me as the person voting most often to oppose the President Barack Obama's agenda here in Washington, D.C.
That's the way to go. Way to go. That's an attaboy right there from me, and I appreciate it. Senator, let me kind of shotgun some thoughts to you real quick. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I want to get right into it. Would you do me a favor? I'll send you the money if you'll go buy a 39-cent pen and take your cell phone to the president this afternoon so he has another pen and phone, and tell him to get up off his chair and sign for the Keystone Pipeline. This is ridiculous, Jim.
It is. He's pandering to the environmental community, which is
they want the Keystone Pipeline stopped because they don't want people to have oil to use to generate electricity or operate automobiles or what have you. The nonsense of this is that oil that's coming from the deposits in Canada are going to come out of the ground, they're going to go into a pipeline, and they're going to get used. The question is, are they going to the United States or are they going to China? Because China is just salivating to get their hands on that, and they'll produce all the tankers they need to they'll just pipe it to the ocean, and they'll take it from there. That's what's going to happen. And you know, we're talking about tens of thousands of jobs the president could create with the stroke of a pen, and instead they're digging around with it, and it's just it just absolutely defies common sense. Even the labor unions say the president should do this.
Well, I've got another subject that absolutely infuriated me this morning, and I know you're on top of it, but this morning it came out that Hamid Karzai of Afghanistan went ahead and released 65 terrorists that have American blood on their hands. They laughed and joked as they went out of their jail cell. We have given Hamid Karzai and Afghanistan over $90 billion with a B over the last decade, and this man now is working with the Taliban. Have we been duped by this little weasel, or what's going on over here?
The answer to your question is yes. This has just been a disaster in recent years. You know, there's a lot of us that have been pressing to do something different than what we have been doing there, because it's, you know, we went over there originally to get Al Qaeda because they had trained there and had brought down the World Trade Center, et cetera. And it didn't take us long to do that. We were done with that job in relatively short order. Well, then we pivoted towards fighting the Taliban, who are the local residents there. Al Qaeda had left. They'd gone to Pakistan. They'd gone to Somalia. They'd gone to Yemen. And what was left was the Taliban, who'd been there for eons and fought everybody that's come through there from Kublai Khan on, and they're still there, and that's who we wound up fighting, and the result of that has just been a tremendous drain on the Treasury, and when we leave there, and we are going to leave there pretty quickly, this whole thing is going to go right back to what it was. Freedom is a wonderful, wonderful thing, but you got to want it. And we've given those people every opportunity to have what we have to, and they just are not inclined to take a hold of it. And the result of it is the mess we got there. And it should teach us once again that we can't go around the world telling people what they should or shouldn't be, and expect that they're going to say, "Oh, okay, we'll do that." They just don't do that.
Absolutely.
And so we can be a model for people. We can help when help is appropriate, but this nation-building thing that we've been doing for a long time it just doesn't work, and it's sad to see, but it's a cruel fact of life.
As being the most conservative senator, you must be outraged and tearing out your hair to see how Obama can break the law 29 times, changing Obamacare after the Supreme Court had passed on it, which I think is unlawful in itself, and it should have been rewritten. This man absolutely defies the law, defies the Constitution, and gets away with it. How come more people aren't storming his office and saying, "What are you doing?"
Well, it's disappointing to see the American people just kind of look the other way as one single individual flaunts the Constitution, where the Founding Fathers set up three very distinct, very separate branches of government, each co-equal, and each with the ability to run their own affairs but not interfere with the affairs of the other. And this business of, well, the ends justifies the means. We don't like Congress. We don't like what they're doing. They're not doing what we want to do. So a different branch of government is going to do legislating, namely the executive branch. I mean, it's sickening to watch this. And, you know, we've been in court with them on some stuff. We're going to continue to do that. I'm a co-author of a letter we just sent to him and said we wanted to see specific authority for what you have done on Obamacare as far as suspending this and changing that and what have you, because when the next president takes office, that's what he will have the ability to do with Obamacare. Obviously, the Democrats are all snickering because they say we can't repeal Obamacare if you get even if we get the House, the Senate, and the White House, you need 2/3. You're going to need a supermajority in the Senate to pass it. So they're snickering, saying you can't get rid of it. We're saying, well, if the president can get rid of parts of it, why can't the new president get rid of the whole thing?
That's right.
So we've sent a letter to him, said, give us your authority. So we'll have the new president ready to do that when this nightmare is over. Whatever it is, 1,000 days or so.
Jim, one final thought here I'd like you to comment on. I know that you, along with Jeff Flake of Arizona, co-sponsored a bill to prevent IRS targeting and preserve free speech. And this goes right along with Obamacare because the IRS is the implementation device of collecting the money for Obamacare. Give us a little explanation about this bill.
Well, I guess the bill is just what it says it is. It says you can't do that. And I guess what I would say is, can you imagine if a Republican president did what this president did with the IRS and targeted if a Republican president targeted left-wing groups and said, we're gonna audit them, we're gonna deny them rights that they have under the law. We're going to harass them. We're going to do all these things. I mean, there would be an outrage in the media from one end of this country to the other. And yet, these people were caught red-handed doing doing exactly that to conservative groups. And there's no outrage. I've seen people on the left giggle about it, say, well, yeah, that's what they do. I mean, it's outrageous, absolutely outrageous. This is America. These are the kinds of things that happen in a third world country, in a banana republic. This is America, where we're supposed to be a country of laws. We preach to other countries, you need to be a country of laws, not a country of men that can take the law into their own hands and do with it what they want.
One final thought, Jim, real quick. You, as the most conservative senator, and I know you're outspoken on this, you must have absolutely had your jaw drop when you've been hearing Pelosi and other Democrats say that, this is a good thing that people can leave a full-time employment and they can work part-time, less hours, more time with the kids, and get subsidies on Obamacare. This must have really made you upset.
Well, the bad part is you get kind of jaded. I hear this every day here. I mean, it's not just that. These people sincerely believe that we dump all the money into the pot, and people don't have to work. They don't have to produce. You do whatever you want to do, and at the end of the day, you just reach into the pot and help yourself to other people's earnings and the fruits of other people's labor, and this is a good thing that you don't have to work. I mean, it's just stunning, and they do it with a straight face. They do it like there's nothing wrong with it. They do it like this is a socialist country, and that this is acceptable. No personal responsibility, no discussion about what are you doing to help yourself. My jaw didn't drop because I'm so used to hearing it.
All right. I want to say thank you very much for taking the time to call us this morning. United States Senator from Idaho, Jim Risch, the most conservative senator. Yeah, proud of that.
On here in D.C., this is a town that closes down on a half-inch of snow. They got 8 inches of snow. Capitol Hill is like a morgue. Everybody's gone home, but the Risch office is open.
That's the way to be, Jim. You show them the way. Show them the light. Thank you very much. Senator Jim Risch, thank you for being on the program this morning.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you, sir. And I'm glad he brought that up about the snow, because he's at his office working, and they got 8 inches of snow in Washington, D.C. Most of the time they get like 2 inches, and they go, the sky is falling. What can we do? The feeling on the East Coast and the personality of the East Coast in snow is absolutely amazing to me, that all of a sudden it's Armageddon. And our senator trudges through the snow in 8 inches of snow and goes to his office and is serving his constituents. Thank you, United States Senator Jim Risch. Appreciate that. Valentine's Day. Tomorrow. Yep, it is. And Whipple's Book Plaza is just waiting for you. The doors open at 222 West 11th Street in Burley with Colonel Dale and the rest of the crew. They've got all your books. 3 floors of books, precious moments, greeting cards, art supplies, crafts, everything. And if you mention that you heard this ad on Zeb at the Ranch, get 10% off your purchase. Hey, stop in and see them today for Valentine's Day. Whipple's Book Plaza, 222 West 11th Street in Burley, serving you. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away, I promise. We're hurrying. And also, don't forget Perkins Restaurant, 800 North Overland in Burley. Oh, did you hear they got some great Valentine's lovey specials? Yep, 10-ounce cut of prime rib. Oh, my. Au jus, horseradish, sour cream, butter, and baked potato choice, a side dish, and a dinner roll, all for $15.99. She's going to love ya. Or shrimp or chicken pasta. Holy smokes, I know where you need to go for Valentine's Day. You're going to be set up right there at Perkins Restaurant, 800 North Overland in Burley. You stop in. They wish you a happy Valentine's Day. Caller, real quick. I've only got a minute. Go ahead.
Okay, tell me if I'm wrong. Rich said that we did everything we could for Iraq and gave them the freedom they needed, and they're not doing it.
Afghanistan.
Pretty much what he said.
Afghanistan. He was talking about Afghanistan with Hamid Karzai. He's as bitter about it. I've talked to his office many, many times about this. He's absolutely bitter that we keep handing money through the Obama administration and previous administrations to a little weasel that has absolutely taken the money and run and now is selling us out to the Taliban.
Oh, I agree with that completely, but I thought he was talking about Iraq.
No. It was Hamid Karzai in Afghanistan.
The thing is, with Iraq, we wrote their constitution for them, and their constitution they have is complete totalitarian.
I'm not going to argue with you. I agree with you. But I am going to have to say that I've got to get my next deal on the air right now with Ken Mort. I appreciate your call, but it was Afghanistan and Hamid Karzai that we were talking about. Thanks, sir. I appreciate it. Good to hear from you. Okay. Hey, got to run. Who let these dogs out anyway?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Oh, my goodness, we got dogs running all over the place. Oh, my, and right now with us with Minidoka Animal Control, the one, the only, the great one, Officer Ken Mort. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing great. How are you today?
Busier than a one-armed paper hanger.
Well, I figured you were going to tell me busier than one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest.
Well, and you know what? I don't have a leg to stand on right now. My good leg's all cut up from surgery, and my other one wasn't worth anything anyway, so I can't even qualify for that.
That's why I kind of threw that out there. So,
hey, what's going on in the world of canines?
Well, we want to feature Peaches, and we named her Peaches because she's as sweet as a Georgia peach.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a 8 to 9 months old, figuring she got yellow lab and hound Annette cross in her. Real pretty tan coat. She's a very friendly girl, loves to be with people and be loved. She's quiet to be around. She doesn't do a lot of barking or anything. I mean, she just real sweetheart, wants to cuddle. She was actually found over in Rupert running loose with no collar, tags, or anything. And we've got her up for adoption, and I mean, she'd make somebody a wonderful, wonderful pet. I mean, she's really relaxed. Annette, not real hyper, but just a real fun-loving dog.
Oh, my. Now, what kind of a dog did you say it was again?
By the looks of her, she looks like she is a yellow lab hound cross.
Oh, I'll bet she is just got big brown eyes and just says, love me, love me, love me.
Yes, she does. I mean, her picture looks like, are you serious? You're taking my picture?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way she looked and stuff and that, but you can look at those big eyes and it just makes you want to melt.
And all they have to do to find out about getting Heather and she's ready to go is just call you, right?
Yeah, to get Peach, or to Annette, if they're wanting to...
Did I say Heather or Peaches?
You said Heather.
And I'm in trouble because I was thinking of a segment earlier where I didn't get her on the line. I meant to say, and please forgive me, Peaches.
Yeah, all they got to do if they're interested in her or any of the other dogs we've got is contact us at 438-2200, or they can contact me on my cell phone at 670-7268.
Okay, how is the dog situation? You got a lot of them over there, Ken?
Right now, we do for the facility and that, but we are getting them homes and that. We've got rescues that are coming in and helping us with finding them homes. So I mean, we're getting them placed. We are also wanting to throw out there and that to everybody that this Saturday and Sunday, this Saturday at 10 o'clock, if you're wanting to volunteer to help with doing some work on our new location, it's at 50 West, 200 South, over here in Rupert. We're looking for people wanting to come in and paint and help with doing some cleaning and whatever else we can get done on that this weekend. So if they're interested in that, they can also contact me on my cell phone.
Okay.
And then also want to remind everybody about Smith's Food King here in Burley's food drive and bedding drive that they're doing. When you go in and stuff and that, they've got that box still sitting there between the two entrance doors. And that for people to drop off donations and stuff and that for of dog food, dog treats, bedding, anything that'll help make these our furry friends and stuff and that more comfortable.
All right, and by the way, real quick, Ken, what about the food situation? You need dog food and towels and other things yet too?
We're always in need of those items. I mean, we're wanting to make sure and stuff and that we've got plenty of it on hand. I mean, because if they get too soiled when we're utilizing them and stuff and that they can't really be washed very well, then we have to dispose of them. But
okay.
I mean, we're always in need of things like that. I do want to send a thank you out to a lady on that. Her name was right on the tip of my tongue, and I just can't remember it. But she works for the Minidoka Highway District. She has been taking old towels and making small beds for some of our small dogs with them and everything. So I want to send a thank you out to her for her major support.
All right. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you every Thursday. Ken Mort, my buddy with Minidoka Animal Control. The dog of the week is Peaches. She's looking for a wonderful home. It's a wonderful dog. Ken, God bless and have a good week.
You too, Zeb.
All right. Who let those dogs out anyway? I'll tell you what, that dog, Peaches, sounds like a really nice dog. You better get a hold of Ken Mort today. Hey, real quick, don't forget Valley-Wide Home and Ranch is having a lovebird sale. Oh, yeah, a lovebird sale. Yeah, they are. For Valentine's Day. And all the birdhouses and feeders are 25% off. And all the clothing and jewelry and belts and slippers, 25% off. And you can register to win a lovebird evening for two, a $50 gift certificate and a one-night stay at the historic downtown Drift Inn. Oh, great food. Good time. Hey, don't forget to get in there today. Valley-Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert for their great big lovebird sale going on right now. Also, I want to mention to you that I know a place, and I've done business, and that's where I've got my four-wheelers and everything else. Let's Ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Nobody better. They're open Tuesdays through Saturdays, and they've got the biggest selection of side-by-sides at Let's Ride in the entire state of Idaho. And all the ATVs are on sale. Spring's right around the corner. I'm hoping 38 days. And dirt bikes for the young at heart, and they still got all the snowmobiles, and the watercrafts are coming in every day. This is where the fun is sold. Yes, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Open Tuesdays through Saturdays, 9 to 6. Let's ride. Let's get on the phone line right now. And we're going to be visiting with a lady that every week I look forward to hearing from her. Rita Ramsey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. How you doing?
Well, Rita, I tell you what, there is never a lack of supply of various things that I want to talk to you about. But I want to go back to what I had mentioned to Jim Rich just a few minutes ago with this Afghanistan situation. Here we have a country that we have given $90 billion to, with a B, over the last decade. And we have put our troops in there, our boys and girls. We have had blood, sweat, and tears and loss of life. And now this morning, this spineless little weasel, Hamid Karzai from Afghanistan, sticks his thumb in the eye of all Americans as he lets loose 65 terrorists who have already killed Americans in the past, and he's siding now with the Taliban. What do you think of this mess?
I think it's time for our troops to come home. I really feel bad because it's kind of a catch-22 for there are good people over there with a very, very corrupt president or leader, or whatever they call him. I guess they call him president. Anyway, it's a sad deal because you hate to just withdraw and leave those people to, you know, the people who are good are going to be the victims and aren't going to survive this. But we need to get out of there and just bring our troops home and cut our losses and just get the heck out.
I couldn't agree more, but to think that to just let these people go, and these aren't people, they're vermin, they're absolute killers, they're worthless, and basically thumb your nose at America when we've given them $90 billion and all the soldiers and everything. I wish there was some sort of retribution.
Well, it is, but we've gone just too far. These last few years, you know, President Obama's been saying, well, we're going to leave and we're going to do this and that and the other, and it's kind of, he's saying, well, in order to keep my life, I'm going to have to start siding with the bad guys because in a little while there's not going to be anybody here to protect me or go against them, and so he's just gone to the other side just in self-preservation. And it's a sad deal, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Obama said by 2014 we're going to be out of there.
Yeah.
And just trying to preserve themselves.
I got a question for you, Rita. Why do you get up and go to work in the morning? Why do I get up at 3:45 in the morning and prepare for this broadcast and spend all day not only in this business but also my real estate business and other things I do? Why are we bothering? I mean, why don't we just kind of live off the government and get subsidies for health care and just sit back and enjoy our life? We don't have to work for it anymore.
Well, as you and I both know, we do have to pay the bills, and we feel it's our responsibility, not somebody else's. And the other thing is, and I've brought this up various different times to different people I've talked to and visited with, work increases your soul. It makes you a whole person. It helps you to feel like I'm making a difference. I'm doing something that's worthwhile, and it brings substance into your soul, and people need to do it. I remember reading a thing, and it was in the Forgotten Man, and it was about the Depression. And there was a man walking down the road one day, and he saw a bunch of guys working in the ditches, and they were shoveling and digging ditches for the federal government, and he saw one shovel standing up. And so he walked over there, and he picked it up, and he started shoveling, and the foreman guy who was in charge came over, and he said, hey, put that down. You can't do that. We can't hire anybody else. We don't have enough money to pay anybody else. And he just looked him straight in the face, and he said, I don't care whether I'm paid or not. I need to work. I have got to work. I've got to do something. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is your soul is filled, and you become a whole person when you're doing what you can do. And it's not necessarily physical work, because there's people who maybe can't do physical work, but when they're doing other things, they have a purpose and a sense of achievement, and that's what feeds your soul and keeps you from just deteriorating away.
But how do you stand listening to remarks like from Nancy Pelosi that says Obamacare allows workers to escape their jobs? I mean, the Democratic mantra with Obamacare, my goodness, have we lost our minds? This country's on the verge of falling over the cliff in bankruptcy, and then we have somebody like Nancy Botox telling everybody that you can escape your jobs? What kind of idiocy is this?
Well, it's really bad, and what we should do is take it for what it is, and that is it's code word for them saying, you let us be in charge of your lives, and we'll take care of you. And it's just a socialist thing, and they want to be in charge, and by doing this, they make people dependent upon them, and then they have the power.
Well, I can see your generation and mine and the generation under us are not listening to that kind of absolute idiocy. But when you look at the younger generation and you give those kids, let's say 30 and under, an opportunity to just take and grab and gimme from the government, we're in trouble, Rita.
Well, we really are, and that's another thing that's really bad, and it's code for I'll be in charge, and that is kids can't work until they're 16.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the time they're 16, they've found out there's all kinds of other things they're more interested in, having fun instead of working. If you let them work from the time that they're really young, and I'm not saying that we need to put them in sweatshops or take advantage of them or anything, but I had a guy in the shop yesterday, and he was showing me. I think it was at his shop. They had poured some cement, and his little grandson was on a piece of equipment helping to float that cement and even it out, and it was. He says he's only 8 years old, but he says that's the time that these little kids need to learn how to work, and they're having fun, and they're realizing they accomplished something, and even if it's just helping a little bit, and then as they get a little bit older, I mean, 8-year-olds can take a lot of steps away from people who are doing things. They can be helpers, they can be the gopher, they can do stuff, and that's what they need. It fills their soul, and they just feel like, man, I did something, and it helps them to understand, like the guy on your radio program was talking yesterday, from the time, I think he said he was 10 or 12, maybe it was even 8, that they had to do certain things to help out and earn money and do their own thing, and that helped them to become responsible citizens and see the importance of work and the things that they could accomplish. But when the government tells you that the kids can't work and you can't do this and we'll take care of you, that's their code word for let us just be in charge of your life.
There you go. We've got a caller with a question and a comment. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Rita. I'm concerned about, and I agree totally that, work is so important, and to learn it at an early age, and certainly doing the chores and so forth out in the farm. I mean, it was a great learning experience, and when you made mistakes, you got maybe a little bit of discipline for, goofing off when you're supposed to be chores and things, but it's a learning process. But I'm concerned with the Tea Party now having Mark Levin be their featured keynote speaker, and he's pushing for this constitutional convention nonsense, which would totally destroy a republic if we'd ever have another convention. And I wanted you to comment about that, because I see an infiltration of the Tea Party that I don't really like, and it's going to divide and conquer again, and that's what the enemy always does. So I'd like her to comment about that.
All right, very good question. Rita, if you would, please expound on that, if you would.
Well, I feel a lot the same the way he does about the con or whatever you want to call it, because it tells us that the Constitution is irrelevant. I have some feelings about making some changes, though, because we've got to make some changes somewhere. I don't know how we do it. We need to get rid of the 17th Amendment. There's some things that need to be done, and many people out there have read Mark Levin's book, The Liberty Amendments, and I never learned more about the Constitution than I did from that book, because he goes through step by step and tells us what is wrong with our government. Not that the Constitution is bad, because it's not, but what is wrong with our government and how they have overstepped their boundaries, and things that I had never even realized were happening. I learned about those, and I see the urgency in doing something before we totally lose our republic. But I definitely feel like that if it goes to a constitutional Congress, and Congress is actually, or a convention, and Congress is actually involved in it, it will just be a huge, huge mess. I am kind of in favor of it. I do not know enough about it, and I just have to admit that I do not know all the facts and ramifications of if the states put forward a few different items and just did those to make some changes, like getting rid of the Supreme Court lifetime appointment things and getting rid of the 17th Amendment and a couple of those other things. But it all boils down to one thing. If our government would just go by the Constitution, period, we wouldn't be in trouble, and that's all we need. But I don't know how you make him do it.
I agree.
I don't know how to make him do it.
I agree. want to ask you, I'm going to do a quick Michael Rogers weather update, and I want to come back and ask you about allowing immigrants, basically political refugees from the Middle East, coming in here that have supported terrorism. I want to talk to you about that in just a moment. Here's MichaelRogersWeather.com.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers for MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got a break today. We're going to pick up on that rain that you got yesterday, and you're going to pick up on it tomorrow. Feels like springtime, although we're about 38 days away from it. Temperatures are definitely going to be on the mild side today. 48 for the high today, 51 tomorrow, 65 the day after tomorrow. Might even see 57 as you work your way toward the weekend. But other than that, it's going to be a rain event, so enjoy the day. Enjoy the weather. Tell me whether you got it.
Thank you, Michael. MichaelRogersWeather.com. And we have him every hour of Zeb at the Ranch. Rita, the Obama administration and Eric Holder and the rest of these Looney Tunes, now they're unilaterally changing the law to allow immigrants coming into this country with limited terror contact to come into the United States, like the Sarnav brothers from Boston that were involved in the bombing and others. Why should we be making new exemptions to let these people in?
Well, first of all, we shouldn't be letting them in, and every senator and congressman should be screaming to high heaven. This is what really bothers me about Washington, D.C., is the president and some of his cabinet people can do all kinds of stuff. And the Congress and the Senate should be checking them and saying, no, we're not going to do that, and just bouncing them right back onto their fanny from when they're trying to do that kind of stuff. But they won't. They're not saying, no, you can't do that, or we're not going to do that, and making a big stink about it. I think that it's one of those deals where, you know, when you're in high school, if one kid would stand up for what was right, a number of people would stand behind him and say, yes, I do too, because out of nature, we naturally are good people. And yet, if one person doesn't stand up, there's tons of them that are kind of like, well, if I didn't have to stand up by myself, I would stand up for right, and so they don't say anything. And I think that's just the way Washington is. It's like, hey, get out there and just say, I don't care, you can shoot the arrows at me if you want, but this is wrong and we can't do this. And let them know that they've got some allies, and the other people who are kind of on the fence will stand behind them. But it's just got to the point where you've got 2 or 3 people and the rest of them are kind of hankering back. And it's just like that, the vote yesterday in the Senate. Ted Cruz wanted to make sure that they had the 60 vote, and so he was he was threatening filibuster. And so there were a bunch of Republicans that were sitting on the bench or sitting on the fence saying, well, I don't know if we really should vote for this or not. And they finally had to vote with the Democrats. But he did that for a reason. That was to show the ones who these guys are and that they are not voting conservatively. They're voting with the Democrats. And it's just sad because you don't have people who will stand up and say, no, we can't let those terrorists come in here. That's not going to protect our country. Or no, we can't leave the borders open. Or no, we can't do this. And when you only have 2 or 3 people, they're just made to look like wacko birds in the, quote from John McCain. But it's really a sad deal. We have got to just totally clear out the Senate and the Congress and get people who are willing to stand up for what's right and be the very conservative vote so that we can get our country back.
Well, and that leads me to the last topic that I'm going to mention to you today. I said this a long time ago when I had Tom Tancredo on my program over about a year ago. And I said, how come after the Supreme Court has basically verified that Obamacare is okay, that the government and the president keep changing it from the form that the Supreme Court said was all right, and now there's been 29 changes, and it's still not in effect. There have been gratuities extended to certain businesses with certain amount of employees, etc. This whole thing has turned into a joke, and it's making a mockery out of the Constitution and our Supreme Court.
Well, it is, and that's why, those senators, if they wanted to actually save their soul, they would go back in, the ones who actually voted for it, and say, let's have another vote on it, and we're going to get rid of it. Of course, Harry Reid won't even let it come to a vote, but it's a sad deal, and they keep making the changes, and that should make that the law would be null and void with all the changes that have been made.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're made illegally, so they shouldn't be in effect. And it's like I heard someone say this morning, okay, those businesses who got the latest pass from Obama on the Obamacare providing insurance, that was for 50 to 99. What about the guy who has 101 employees? That's a bad deal for him.
Mm-hmm.
All he needs to do is see if he can somehow get down into the other area. Of course, he would have to prove that if he got rid of employees that it wasn't because of that. So they put all kinds of stipulations on him. It's totally against the law, and it should just totally null and void it, really.
Rita, we as a nation, when you stop and think about it, and I know you heard this story about this black attorney back east that's going to start suing carte blanche Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, all the fast food restaurants for contributing to obesity. He's going to make kind of a class action suit and demand that they either pay a certain sum into the kitty, or he's going to go after them and try to close them down, just like they did in the tobacco industry. What in the world is going on? We've lost our minds in this country that we're going to try to shut down food, regulate food, tell people what they can eat, can't eat, what they can buy. This is idiocy.
Well, this is just another community organizer tactic, and those people from Acorn and the Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton's types, when they want to get money, they just decide they're going to target someplace and hold them for ransom, and they're basically extorting money from them and saying, hey, blackmail here, either you do this or give me the money. It can be various things that we're going to do bad stuff to you, or make it look like you're doing bad stuff, or we're just going to say that you're racist. I mean, they did that with banks, they did that with loaning institutions, they did that with numbers of businesses, and I don't know why it would be any different for him to do that, something else that he can target, and they'll try to just to get him to shut up, give him the money that he wants. It's a bad deal, and people need to start standing behind these businesses and saying, you know what, you can do whatever you want, but we're not going to, drink your Kool-Aid.
Well, yeah, but Rita, the hypocrisy of this whole situation on the left. Here we've got an attorney that wants to make a big name for himself and start a class action lawsuit against all the fast food restaurants and basically make it so that with Mama Obama, they can tell us what to eat, what not to drink, what we can buy at the grocery store, etc. But these same stupid lawmakers, they're the ones that are legalizing pot and possibly other drugs. I mean, this is insane.
Well, the key word was stupid. Yes, they are stupid. They are not even using their smarts. They're not using their brain at all. And it's sad, but unless people stand up and start saying something, we're just going to be led down that path. And that's the way that it is with, basically everything. You've got to start standing up and saying, hey, we're not going to put up with this. And if people won't do that, I guess we get what we deserve.
Absolutely. By the way, what's going on with the Tea Party?
Well, we have Tea Party meeting tonight. John Einen is going to be on Skype with us. He is running for the Idaho Superintendent of Schools, and he's the only one of the three who is anti-Common Core. And we will have him basically in our meeting, question and answers. And then we're going to kind of go through the other candidates so that we kind of have thumbnail sketches of what their platforms and stuff are. And our next meeting, which is in March, a week or a month from tonight, will be at the King Fine Arts Center at the Little Theater, and we're having all of the candidates come. Brian Smith will be there, John Einen, and the others who are Russ Fulcher and the others who are running for office, so that we can question and answer and find out what they're about, and hopefully do some legwork so we can get some of these guys elected.
All right. Rita Ramsey, and thank you very much. I look forward to every Thursday having her on the program. God bless. And we got a quick call. I'll take 1 minute, and that's it. Go ahead, caller, real fast.
Yes, Rita, I want to compliment you on your letter to the editor in the Weekly Mailer on Common Core. You had it dead right, young lady.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I want to see you put it in all the other papers. That was right on. Thank you, young lady.
All right, Fred. Thank you very much. Rita, God bless. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Rita Ramsey every Thursday right here on Zeb at the Ranch. Oh, man, I sit here, get up early in the morning, and I got to start losing some weight. Oh, boy, I'll tell you what. Sitting around all day waiting for this leg to heal, you eat, you snack, and everything. Well, now, listen to this. If you're hungry like I am, I know some great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. How about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland Avenue in Burley? They've got that southern baked burrito. Is that good? Either soft shell or grilled shell, it is delicious. And they've got the Tamalito burritos, the taco salad burrito. They got the Bandito burritos, the chicken strip baskets, nacho burritos. They got it all for you right there at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. How about we stop over to 2 locations of Burgers Etc. One at 124 South Oneida in Rupert, and the other one at 700 North Overland in Burley. They've got corn dogs and burritos, 99 cents after 3 p.m. in the afternoon. That's right. And don't forget, they got all the hamburgers and the cheeseburgers and anything you can think of, and they've got great desserts, ice cream, that's all there for you. Delicious food and wonderful people at Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. Let's move on along to Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you like it. Fresh cut Idaho French fries. And they've got jalapeno burgers with lots of spicy peppers. No energy shortage there. Pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes. The nicest of servers. They're open Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays. Weekdays they're open 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Friday and Saturday 11 to 9 at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. And last but not least, in our continuing presentation of great places to go eat, the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Oh boy, they've got the famous Farmer Brown burgers. I love those, and all the fries, and all the different milkshakes, any flavor you can think of. And I'll tell you what, they got the kids' baskets, either chicken chunks or hamburger or cheeseburger with pickles and ketchup and fries, only $3.50. Check it out at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley, and those are just a few places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. And I know somebody that's licking her chops right now, and that happens to be Gina Jameson. How are you?
I hit the hunger brick wall.
Hit the hunger brick wall. Can you believe it's Thursday already?
It seems like this week has just absolutely flown by.
Yeah. You got anything special for this weekend you're going to do?
Not really. Probably I've got to work tomorrow night, and then actually we're going to go and we're going to play in some pottery and do some painting, and then I think Stockman's Feed on Saturday night.
You talk about pottery. I took an art course in high school, and they wanted to throw me out, me and a couple of other guys, because we did some damage to the kiln with some of our pottery. I won't go into that story, but it was devastating. But anyway, I made a flower pot, kind of a vase for my mother. And the guy that was teaching the course, I better not say his name because he might be still alive, you never know. But anyway, he gave me a D- on it. And I worked really hard, pardon me?
How do you get a D- in pottery?
I don't know, but he gave me a D- on that pottery, that piece I made for my mother. It was for a flower pot for the back porch. Now, this is what's going to really make you giggle. All of a sudden, about a month later, a bunch of ladies came to visit my mother. And the one lady said, Arlene, I would love to have that flower pot. How much do you want for it? My mother says, oh, no, that's a gift from my son. And she says, I'll give you $50 for it. And I got a D- on it from the teacher. So I wasn't as bad as I thought I was.
Apparently, you should go into pottery. I've got a kiln and a wheel if you want to try it out.
I might blow it up. I'll see you in about 6 minutes. Don't go away. Oh, boy, here we go. Last hour. down the home stretch. Zeb at the Ranch, good morning. I'm Zeb Bell. And, of course, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, along with some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. We're going to have one of those great folks on the air with us in just a minute, but right now I want to remind everybody, too, about the Chadwick Sports Grill at 139 West Main in Burley. Don't forget, today they've got chicken enchiladas with Spanish rice and beans and soup or salad. It's going to be great. Chicken enchiladas, I love them. And then tomorrow on Friday, Valentine's Day, don't forget they're going to have a special with smoked prime rib and also a 12-ounce New York steak. They're going to be having a lot of fun with a big dance, lots of live music, everything else going to be going on down there on Valentine's Day at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. You stop in and see them this weekend. Right now, let's go down to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and big President's Day sales coming up. Here's Brent.
Good morning, Zeb. We want to welcome everyone to our President's Day sale, which is in progress, and special buys, especially on Monday on President's Day sale, February the 17th. And just to get you started, we have in our Simmons mattress department some outstanding buys. We've been down, we toured the Simmons factory, and how interesting it is to watch how they make those pocketed coils, and they cut that memory foam, and they make those mattresses so that not only are they long-lasting, you've got a wonderful warranty or guarantee, but they'll give you a perfect night's rest, and we guarantee you a good night's rest. And as you know, when you purchase a bed from Lee's Furniture, if you're not sleeping well in that first 30 days, we'll help you by bringing that bed back in and finding just the right choice.
Absolutely. You know, the big President's Day sale, you folks are going to be working and serving the others, and you've got great buys on carpet, too, don't you?
We do. Right now, we're running our Good, Better, Best sale, meaning come in and make a selection for approximately 3 rooms. You can do those 3 rooms for $6.99, and that includes carpet, a good quality half-inch pad, and the installation. Or we can show you another package for $7.99, carpet pad and installation for 3 rooms, or choose some of our very best at $8.99. We've got a great selection of rolls, remnants, and the key to good floor covering prices is we bring it in large quantities, large rolls, make special buys, and then we pass that savings on to you.
And then, of course, this weekend is Valentine's Day. You've got all kinds of love seats, don't you?
We've got some sweetheart deals. You hit the nail on the head. And we have set up now in our store, we have these room packages.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you can get 14 pieces. That's a sofa and a love seat, 3 occasional tables, an accessory set, an area rug, a throw to put on the sofa, and a pair of lamps. 14 pieces, just $9.99. Or take your choice of a 9-piece or a 6-piece or a sofa love combination, and you can choose and get a special on any combination that you like. But it helps you to visualize a room setting and allows you to see the colors and the coordination. Helps you in that design that really puts some fluff on that living room.
Absolutely. Now, the big President's Day sale is this coming Monday, the 17th, 6 months, interest-free financing, and you are going to be open Monday.
We will be. We'll be here from 9 until 6. Come in, take advantage of some of those very best values. We have some situations on the floor, such as some Action Lane recliners starting at just $199. So those are first come, first serve. Once they're gone, they're gone. We can't repeat. We can't buy any more. So come take advantage of those very best specials.
All right. Well, listen, Brent, I appreciate it. Good to hear you back on the telephone again with us, and we'll send everybody into Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. You have a great weekend and a great President's Day next Monday. Super sale at Lee's Furniture. Thank you very much.
You're sure welcome, and we hope you're sleeping well on your Simmons mattress and you're enjoying your MyPillow.
I wouldn't let anybody touch MyPillow with that memory foam. I do love MyPillow. Thanks for bringing it up. We talk about it every day. Thanks, Brent.
You're welcome.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Thank you much. Mr. Brent Lee at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. We really appreciate him. By the way, it is time now, without further ado, for Cache County School Days, and we're going to have our guest with us on the phone in just a moment, but I want to remind you about our two great sponsors for this program, and they are A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Now, what's going on right now at, of course, the Child's World? Oh, they're going to have right now their 11th birthday sales celebration. It's going to go all the way from next Monday till next Friday, the 17th through the 22nd. Don't miss it. Get in there next week. They're going to have daily drawings for gift certificates and stays at the Burley Marriott, one of the nominated hotels for the Marriott chain as best in the U.S. Pop a balloon for a discount. Spring items arriving daily at A Child's World, 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley. Also, our thanks to the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ambulatory Surgery Center will always give you outstanding professional care in a very friendly atmosphere and save you hundreds of dollars. Ask your doctor to perform your outpatient surgery there, colonoscopies, arthroscopes, of course, cataract surgeries, many, many more. All of this at the Ambulatory Surgery Center in Burley. Right now, we're going to be talking to the superintendent of schools for Cache County, and that is my dear friend, Mr. Galen Smyer. Good morning, Galen. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing well. And you?
I'm healing. I'm healing and getting better every day.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And time heals a lot of wounds, and so I wish you all the best in your recovery.
I appreciate that. And I guess this morning what we're going to be talking about is the Cache County School District Supplemental Levy. Is that correct?
It is. The board has called for renewal of the supplemental levy that's currently in place. The election is March 11th. And the current levy is for $681,244 per year. Mm-hmm. But the board is requesting an additional $93,000 per year to be dedicated to textbooks. And there have been some articles written recently about the plight of textbooks in this district and in other districts across the state. And we recognize that we're behind times with instructional materials, and we're asking for some additional help. So that additional $93,000 would be dedicated to textbooks, and it would raise the levy from $681 to $774,244 per year for 2 years. It's a 2-year levy that the board is requesting.
Okay. Now, Galen, when does all this take place, and what do you really want the public to know and be cognizant of for the supplemental levy?
Well, certainly the election day is March 11th, and we encourage people to get out and vote. That's the important thing. And this money, and I know that the Cache County voters have experienced a little bit of election fatigue with the school district because we passed a plant facility levy in August that takes care of building maintenance issues. And, of course, we've made some attempts for school bonds, for school construction in recent years. But the plant facility levy comes up once every 10 years. So that one's in place and will run its course for 10 years. But the supplemental levy is something that we revisit every other year. Every 2 years we come back to the voters and ask for their support.
Now, when you say that...
March 11th is the date.
All right. Now, when you say that, ask for their support, I'm understanding from some of the things I read that the current levy amount has not been increased since 2007, but because of the need for these new textbooks, that's why the percent of increase for this levy this time. Is that correct?
That is correct, Zeb. And $93,000... If the voters approve this, then that would earmark $93,000 of those funds that would go towards textbooks. And then the district's going to have to put some additional money with that. $93,000 by itself won't go as far as we need it to, but if we can count on that 93, then that helps us be able to put some other money with it to to meet our instructional needs.
How does that break down, Galen, as far as the paying taxpayer? How much more is he going to be looking or she going to be looking out of their billfolds or purses?
Well, we've published some estimates, Zeb, and for a $100,000 taxable value, it would be an annual increase of $7.15 or 60 cents a month, and then you can jump that up to $200,000, and it would be an annual increase of $14.30. With a monthly increase of $1.19. So people can extrapolate based on their taxable value from that. And we've put these charts out, and they're also on the website. We recognize it is a tax increase, and the board is very sensitive to that. That's one of the reasons that they kept the levy rate at the same amount from 2007 through 2014, is they were sensitive to the tax burdens that's on the community. But we're just at a point where we've received declining revenues from the state. They've sent what money they could. They just didn't have money to send.
I see.
And over that period of time, we've gone backwards in about $5 million in revenues from the state. And so we've had to trim and push back things that we would rather have not, and now it's catching up to us.
Okay, now we have a caller with a question. Galen, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, if you're going to buy new textbooks, for example, history books, are you going to buy books that tell the truth or the garbage that's out there now?
It's a great question. When the procedure has been in the past when we've done a textbook adoption, that we involve our instructional staff that deals with those subject areas, some administrators, a school board representative, and then we've brought in people from the community, whether it be PTO people or other representatives from the schools. And we look at what's available out there. And you're right, there's some things, regrettably, history's being rewritten in the minds of some. And they would have us believe things to be very different than what they occurred. And so we're sensitive to those kinds of issues, and so we would do a very thorough review of anything before a decision is made. And certainly we recognize that the textbook manufacturers, those publishers and printers, are working for a Texas market or a Georgia market or a California, and their values are not always the same as ours. And so we don't always go with what's the most popular. We've gone with what's most appropriate.
You know, let me ask you a question there, Galen, and I don't want to get off the subject of the levy and the boat, but when you talk about textbooks like the gentleman that just called in, you would think, you and I have known each other for a long time, you would think that when we talk about history, we talk about math, we talk about issues, every textbook should be within less than 1% variation from each other. How come there's such a wide and different, varied approach to teaching our children?
Well, I can only speculate on that, Zeb, in as much as that people have agendas and they have things that they value. And it's not that, not always do we see that they're saying that something that we know to be so in history wasn't true. What they'll do is just very much trivialize those kinds of sections, and then they will emphasize something else that they want to support, and so it diminishes what has been historical belief and knowledge, and replaces it with someone else's ideas and agenda.
I see. Now let's talk again about when and where for the vote. Now, what about the polling places? Are they going to be standardized polling places for all elections to go vote? Tell us where.
It is, Zeb, with the election consolidation law that was passed and put into place in 2011, all the elections now occur in the precincts where the voters vote for the primary election or for the general election. Now, we have several areas of the county that receive mail ballots, and I believe those have already gone out. But Election Day is March 11th. And we encourage people. People live busy lives, and I know that over the years in prior elections, people have said we just got called away out of town on short notice and didn't get a chance to vote. They're certainly welcome to go into Cassia County Courthouse beginning February 24th, and they can cast a ballot there for the election so that their voice is heard.
All right, now, Galen, let's really amplify this. I've got about a minute left here. If anyone has questions as to the cost, the increase, where the money's going, etc., is there a simple source to obtain the information, a telephone, a website, etc.?
The school district website is Cassia School District 151 or Cassia SD 151 or CassiaSchools.org. Any of that will get you to our school district website, and it'll be posted there. Certainly anyone's welcome to call the school central office, and we would answer your questions or provide you with the material that you need.
All right. Very, very good friend of mine, Cassia County Superintendent of Schools, Galen Smyer. Galen, God bless you. It's good to hear from you, and we'll look forward to having you back on the show again.
Thank you, Zeb. Look forward to it, and have a great day.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Very nice man, Galen Smyer, Cassia County Superintendent of Schools. We're going to have our next guest on the program momentarily, but I want to remind everybody it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, and the bookstore over in Rupert, oh my, at 515 5th Street, they've got caramel-filled chocolate hearts. Ooh, doesn't that sound good? And then they've got all the different fudge. I mean, you get your lovey some fudge, and boy, you are going to be the king. They've got all the chocolate caramel, the peppermint chocolate, the cookies and cream, everything. And they've got all the cards over there at the bookstore. The bookstore, 515 5th Street in Rupert, right on the square. Caramel-filled chocolate hearts. You better get over there today. Also, don't forget Mad River Laser. Wow, I love this business. I love what they do. They make all the T-shirts and the engraving, and they've got buck knives over there. They've got vinyl lettering, rubber stamps. They do it all, and they're not too much longer. They're going to be moving down on the square in Rupert, but they're still located right now at 700 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop over and see them today. Mad River Laser, wishing you and yours a very happy Valentine's Day. Let's go to Gina first. And I'll always check with the quarterback of the team and see if we have Kelly Withers on the phone.
We do.
All right, thank you. Well, good morning, Mr. Western Waste, Kelly Withers. How are you this morning?
I'm great, Zeb. How about yourself?
Oh, I tell you what, I'm just really hanging in there, healing up every day from my surgery, and then I noticed that you guys are getting bigger all the time. You're expanding, you're taking on more things, and right now you've got the portable storage units called the Go Minis. Give us a little bit of explanation as to what they are and what they could do for the public.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to do that. We purchased the Go Mini franchise from Arlo Lot there in Jerome, and we've seen a need for a lot of storage units on the construction sites, and it fit into our business real well. And so we just recently purchased 100 of those containers, and in the process of buying more, but they work great for commercial and residential use, and we have 12, 16, and 20 footers that we can deliver right to the customer, and we just leave them, and you fill them at your convenience. And then another thing, we've stepped up to the plate, and we're offering a service where they can put their own lock on the container, and then we will store it for them for the monthly fee at our secure fenced facilities in Jerome or Twin Falls. And the only one that has access to the contents would be the owner. And but yet we could let them in at almost any time to get into the gate to get them, and then we can deliver them to the
back to any place they want them, in state or out of state or in town.
So, Kelly, if they go to visit and they need to get something out of this container, the Go Minis, all they have to do is just basically call you or a member of Western Waste Services at 734-6969, and you'll make arrangements to make sure that they're able to get right in and get the material they're looking for, right?
Correct. Yep. And we also can store it at, move from home to home or whatever. Where it works really well for the storing on our site is moving from your summer toys to your winter toys, putting the lawnmower or the snowblower and moving them back and forth, and then we store them, and when the seasons change, you call us, we deliver it to your home, and you unload it and put your other seasonal stuff in it, and we store it, and it really cleans out your garage or your shop or whatever, and they're quite inexpensive.
Oh my goodness, I would hope to shout. I mean, this is a great idea, innovative idea to save a lot of room and keep things nice and neat. Now, what about it? Where do they call primarily? In Jerome and Twin Falls, 734-6969 or 324-5849. Is that correct?
Correct. And we have 2 or 3 other lines, but if they dial those numbers, they will go right into the office, and the gals will be right there to help you immediately.
All right.
We can usually deliver the Go Minis within 24 hours, and so then.
Okay, now Kelly.
Still within 24 hours, also.
All right, we've got a caller with a question. Go ahead, caller, real fast, please.
Yeah, do you have the ability to destroy confidential papers?
We do not at this time. We've thought about getting into that, but we're actually paying to have ours done at this time. There is a couple businesses in Twin Falls that do it, and we're actually using them at this time.
All right, caller, thank you for the question. Kelly, it sounds to me like you're ever expanding, always thinking about how to better serve the public, and I think these Go Minis are a tremendous idea, but I also don't want to lose sight of the fact that I'm sure you'd agree with me. You've got the best of garbage pickup on the route service. You are always there with Western Waste Services, aren't you?
I think so. I think what makes us the best is our employees and customers.
I couldn't agree more, and I can just about set my watch with the people that are on our route service. They do an absolutely wonderful job. Listen, Kelly, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about these Go Minis. It's definitely something I'm going to be looking into, and we'll try to send more people your way. Western Waste Services, number to call, 734-6969. Kelly Withers, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you, Zeb. I appreciate it.
All right, sir. God bless. That's a really great idea, these Go Minis and the different sizes to put all your stuff in. And, man, I got a bunch of stuff I can sure put in there, I'll tell you that. Really a good idea, Western Waste Services. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to have Idaho State Senator Dean Cameron calling into the program for the last half hour to tell us what's going on at the legislative session. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to the main studios. I'll be right back.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you very much, and we're going to get on the phone line in just a moment with Idaho Senator Dean Cameron. But first of all, let's get a weather update with Michael of RogersWeather.com.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers for MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got a break today. We're going to pick up on that rain that you got yesterday, and you're going to pick up on it tomorrow. Feels like springtime, although we're about 38 days away from it. Temperatures are definitely going to be on the mild side today. 48 for the high today, 51 tomorrow, 55 the day after tomorrow. Might even see 57 as you work your way toward the weekend. But other than that, it's going to be a rain event, so enjoy the day. And enjoy the weather. Tell me whether you got it.
There you go, Michael Rogers Weather. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a dear friend and also our great state senator from right in this area, Mr. Dean Cameron. Good morning, Dean. How are you?
He hasn't called, and I tried him on his cell phone, and he's not picking up.
Oh, really? Now ask me if this causes me great concern.
It should. So I'll just continue to try and call him. Is he in Boise?
Yes, he is in Boise, and I did give you the telephone number, I think. The cell phone number?
Yep,
Okay.
I tried his cell
All right.
phone and it went directly to voicemail, so maybe he's in session or in a meeting right now.
Well, what we would like then at this time is if somebody would like to talk about anything, please give us a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like to hear about anything you want to talk about, gripe about, shoot the breeze about, get mad about, whatever. Love to hear from you. And by the way, last night, we had some guests that were very, very blessed friends. Mr. and Mrs. Ted Higley stopped by from over to Malda on their way back home. What a nice visit, and really dear friends. And I say thank you to them for stopping by and seeing how we're doing. Okay, calls are welcome. Excuse me, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got another one of those friend letters. Yeah, do you get these two? This one came from David Axelrod. Oh, I got a call. I'll take that first. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Zeb, I was just had a thought. Last night I was watching this dual luge, and I was wondering if you would like to do dual luge.
Randy, you're putting me in a really bad and embarrassing position here. I was going to comment on that in the first hour, and I decided against it because the gays have put together, and I'm going to try to say this as tactfully as possible. Don't you dare giggle or snicker. But the gay lifestyle has taken and tried to twist the two-man luge contest at the Olympics into something that, how do we say it now, Randy? You got me backed into a corner. Is not exactly apropos. And I thought it was disgusting. I thought it was sick. I thought it was perverse. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
I mean, I thought, for some reason, I've never really paid any attention in the past, and last night I just happened to see the dual luge riding, and I thought, what is the point of this? And I thought, well, I guess, I don't know. It was just,
so you thought...
I thought it was funny.
So you thought that what you would do is call and put me on the carpet outside the door that says welcome, and everybody could wipe their shoes off on me. That's why you brought it up, didn't you?
Oh, I just thought it was funny. I was just going to ask you if you would like to do the dual luge. I just thought it was so funny. So,
well,
listen, that's all. Hey, remember, you know, one thing else about informing our children in school, you know, across this nation, because of public funding, there is a clause that says that on the 17th of September of every year, it's Constitution Day. Mm-hmm. And if people across this nation were to say, okay, I want to know what you're going to teach on Constitution Day, and if you don't know, then maybe we help you to just decide. And all the schools across this nation would have to teach the Constitution on the September 17th of every year. And now they're not doing it. But if we were to force them, the kind of seeds that would be planted in the minds of these children could literally help to change the course.
No, I totally agree with you, and I think that anything and everything that we can do to stimulate interest back into our country background with what's happened with our forefathers and the blood, sweat, and the tears and the writing of our Constitution and our history. I mean, just like I was talking to Cassia County School Superintendent Galen Smyer just a minute ago, they have to literally check out all the school books that they're going to use in their school system to make sure that these school books aren't with hidden or perhaps slanted meanings that go against our history, that go against the teachings of what our history has provided for us. It's a shame that they can't write the facts and just leave it alone.
Well, this is the thing about the left and the ideologues, and I guess you might say that in some cases they are literally evil, and truly they are lost, and but they will never cease if you think we're going to put these people away for good and then lock them up and then we can take a breeze or sigh of relief, it's never going to happen.
I agree.
The fight will never end until Christ comes.
I agree with that. Randy, thank you for your call this morning. I appreciate it. Thanks.
See you.
Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And we are waiting patiently for Senator Dean Cameron to give us a call. Must have got hung up on the floor with a vote. Got one of those letters again, this time from David Axelrod. I got to share this with you. It's another one of these Obama letters. Here it goes. Friend, this isn't something you get the chance to do every day. Until midnight tonight, anyone who adds their name to help in the final push for health care will be automatically entered for an amazing opportunity. You could fly to D.C. with a friend to meet President Obama backstage in an event later this month. This work couldn't be more important for every person you reach. You stand to help change their life in a real and profound way. If you care about health care reform, this is something you should be a part of. Thank you, David Axelrod. Good Lord. And then it has a P.S. It says, midnight tonight is the deadline to enter for the chance to go backstage to meet President Obama. You don't want to miss out on this. Oh, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. Thank you so much. While we're waiting, I want to remind you that yesterday we talked to Smilin' Max Twiss over at Magic Valley Tires, Les Schwab and Paul. They're going to have a great big chili cook-off and contest and feed coming up on February 22nd, starting at 10:30 in the morning with the judging of the chili. And then free chili and cinnamon rolls right after that. Oh, my goodness. And for the top prizes, the winners in the chili cook-off, they're going to pay 3 places. For more information, call 438-8444. Amber will take your call if you want to be a part of that big chili contest and cook-off. There you go. Yeah, who's paying for the trip, Deanne? Believe me, we are. We are. Thank you. To possibly stand backstage with Barack Obama. What a thrill. Ay, ay, ay. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Gina, where is everybody this morning?
I have no idea. Oh, here's a phone call.
Oh, I was going to say, what do you want to talk about, kid?
We've got a phone call, so let them talk. It might
All right.
be Dean, I have no idea.
It might be Dean. Let's see what's going on. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, this is Dean Cameron. I'm sorry for being a few minutes late. I had to get off the Senate floor.
Not a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, Idaho State Senator Dean Cameron. Dean, it's so nice to have you step out the door of the session and share with us what's going on. And with that, what is going on? What's the hot button issue up there this morning?
Well, we're starting the floor just a little early because we've got a number of things going on, and should have a vote on the bill, the agricultural bill that you had Senator Bear on Wednesday to talk about, Senate Bill 1337. That should take place either today or tomorrow on the Senate floor, and that's certainly perhaps the most controversial topic we're talking about at the point right now, because the media is being blitzed with all kinds of horror stories about how people treat their animals on dairies and livestock locations, and of course we know that's a far cry from the truth.
Dean, let me ask you a question.
The hottest topic. We finished this morning with our hearings in the JFAC committee. We've heard from all our state agencies, and so that's each of them have had an opportunity to come and make their request for their items in their budget. Tomorrow we will hold a public hearing where the public is allowed to come and tell us what they think should be in the budget. And then on Monday we start setting the budget. We will start with some fixes to the 2014 budget and then move Tuesday morning into the 2015 budget, starting mostly with dedicated fund sources, which are a little easier to handle than the general fund.
Okay. I want to back up just a little bit, if I could, Dean, and I wanted to ask you about the Senate Bill 1337. You say that the Humane Society of the United States is doing a bunch of advertisements and really trying to slant this against this ag protection bill. It's called the Ag Security Bill. But what about the media in the Boise area especially? Have they been fair? Have they tried to talk to Jim Patrick? Have they tried to talk to other people to get a fairness on this issue?
Well, it is certainly, it is not horrible. I don't want to, I think the media has been somewhat fair. There hasn't been a lot of media coverage on it. Mostly what's running is television and newspaper ads, if you will, radio ads. The television ads are obviously very damning, or they try to show, significant damage. But here again, this bill is not as onerous and is not as far-reaching as what most people believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the actual bill, it basically says that you can't be forced, you can't be coerced, you can't be threatened, you can't come on somebody's property and threaten them or threaten if they don't allow you to take pictures or videotape. So it's really, in many cases, a private property rights issue.
That's right.
Well. I mean,
that's right.
None of us would allow somebody to come into our homes and videotape what's going on within our homes and then take clips out of it to make us look bad.
Absolutely.
Or our own businesses. So, and that's of course, in today's society, it's unfortunate, but that is the way some people are operating.
Dean, I need to ask you this, or I wouldn't be doing my job. Every day that goes by with Obamacare, it just changes again, or he changes the rules, he being Obama, or there's been another leniency provided to certain groups so they can back out until 2016 or something. This is a mockery. Why don't they just back up and be honest and just say, wait a minute, we got to start over from scratch. We're hurting too many people.
Well, that would be the smart thing to do, and that would be the common sense, rational thing to do, is to back up for everybody. Instead, they go piecemeal groups at a time, and of course, you probably heard the announcement, I think it was 2 days ago, that they have now backed off for employers, 50 to 99 employees. They have backed off their compliance to 2016. Well, that's partially because there's no way they're going to be ready. In some ways, I'm glad they backed it off because it would have caused additional devastation and trouble for those employers in that bracket. But I wish they'd back it off for every employer, and I wish they'd back it off for individuals as well. It's one thing to allow individuals the opportunity to be able to purchase coverage. It's another thing to force them or to penalize them, and I don't know how how this would withstand court challenge, to have some groups or individuals or some entities not have to pay a penalty and then force individuals to have to pay a penalty. Or how do you force an employer who has 49 employees to participate or pay a penalty, and an employer with 50 employees not to? It's just defies logic, their approach. But we've said that before.
Well, one of the questions I've got for you, and I don't think anybody's more knowledgeable about Obamacare and the wreck it is than you are, but if the Supreme Court, and I've asked you this before, but it gets worse all the time, if the Supreme Court looked at it months and months and months ago and said, okay, yeah, it's legal, which I don't think it is, then he took that product, Obama took that product from the Supreme Court, and he has changed it and altered that product at least 29 times. Why doesn't that at that point disavow the legality of the product, and the Supreme Court should say, wait a minute, you've changed it since we've looked at it?
First of all, you have to recognize what the court was asked, and we worried at the time. I second-guessed my legal friends at the time that we were not asking the court the right question. Now, what we asked the court is essentially, could the federal government mandate that we'd be forced to purchase coverage. We felt like, or some felt like, that was the strongest approach. But there were a number of very other onerous provisions that I felt like should have been challenged with the court. The court never ruled on those other pieces. They didn't rule on whether it was appropriate to have death panels. They didn't rule on whether it was appropriate for the federal government to determine the rating system of how people would be rated, or any of those type of things. They ruled on whether or not really two issues: whether or not you could be forced to purchase coverage either through your employer or through the exchange or through direct means, and they ruled as to whether the states would be forced to increase Medicaid or expand Medicaid. Now, the courts ruled in our favor on the Medicaid question and said, no, you cannot force the states to expand Medicaid. They ruled against everybody else on the mandate issue because they essentially said that it was a tax, which in my mind, I wish somebody would have challenged that further, because if it was a tax, the bill should have started in the House instead of in the Senate, as per the Constitution. And if it was a tax, if that didn't happen that way, then in my opinion, it should have been considered to be not valid. Unfortunately, that's not how the court saw it. The court saw that it was a tax, and the federal government has the right, in their opinion, to charge us a tax if you don't buy coverage, and that's ergo the penalty for the mandate.
All right, we have a caller with a question. Dean, quickly, caller. I've got 6 minutes left. Go ahead, please.
Okay, tell me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that there's a bill there in the state legislature about us taking over the Forest Circus and the BLM lands so that we manage them instead of them. And if that is true, why aren't we pushing that?
All right.
Actually, thanks for the question. It's a very good question and a very hot topic. There's not a bill yet this year. There was a study committee put together, and the study committee was supposed to last for 2 years. Most study committees are 1 year, and they anticipate coming back with legislation in that year. This one, we do not anticipate legislation until next legislative session. So it's being looked at, and there are committee members. I can't tell you who's on there at this point. The Speaker and others have appointed appropriate individuals to serve. I know that Senator Winder from the Senate is the Senate chairman of that committee, and they're working diligently. But there's no bill for this session.
Okay. Dean, when you look at the overall session so far, and here we are at midpoint in February, what about the legislative session? What about the budget? What about the money? What about the income? What about anything that's been hidden and jumped up out of a box, and all of a sudden you got to figure out where you're going to get the money to pay for it? How bad or how good a shape is the state in right now?
Well, the state's still in reasonably good shape. The revenue stream has, for the first period of time, first 6 months of the year, has been decent to the state and has been increasing. We got a surprise with January's revenue, in which we lost about $24 million in revenue, mostly, we believe, in sales, some in sales tax, but mostly in income tax, and we're not sure at this point in time. We've got folks looking into it and looking at the tax records, trying to determine if there's something that we should be concerned about, if this was people filing early, or what the situation might be. So that was a surprise, but it's still not that harmful to us because the first 6 months had been okay. Certainly the surprise about the Idaho Education Network, which is a good network, Unfortunately, the contract for that network was issued in sort of a cloud, and I don't know if you know the whole story, but that was initially issued with Syringa Networks, which is there out of ARC, out of Minnedoka County, and Education Networks of America, and then it got changed to CenturyLink and Education Networks of America. Well, Syringa has sued, and that contract is those court cases have been working their way through. Well, in the meantime, the federal government decided, well, while we're working through these court cases, we're not going to send our share of the money for this network. And that money comes from what's called an E-rate. We all, on our telephone bill and our internet bill, we all pay a portion to help deliver services to rural areas. And that's in the form of what is termed as an E-rate. Well, the federal government decided they were going to withhold that, which that's about a $7 million hit a year.
Wow.
And so for us to retain the Education Networks of America, it meant we're being forced to come up with about $16 million and could be forced to potentially pay back the federal government $14 million. We're a little bit frustrated with that, and I'm not sure we've figured out a good answer.
So it could involve maybe robbing Peter to pay Paul?
It may involve robbing Peter to pay Paul. It may involve, instead of being able to put as much into savings as we had hoped, because we're following the governor's blueprint as much as we can. We'd like to set money aside into reserves because we know that down the road there will be an economic hit to us at some point.
Absolutely.
And we need to be prepared, and we're nowhere near prepared where we were the last time the economy failed.
Okay.
So we're working in that direction, and there's a few other hits that come along. Certainly, we had the audit on the state treasurer's office, and that was very concerning. The information that came out there, and it appears the state treasurer, by adjusting from one account to another, lost about $12 million is my recollection.
Oh my goodness! Listen, Dean, I'm flat out of time. I am flat out of time for this morning, but I pardon my rudeness for jumping in, but I've got to get a commercial in before the show ends. Senator Dean Cameron up at the session. Thank you so much for stepping outside the door and helping us this morning. And please know I'll look forward to maybe talking to you again next week. Really appreciate your involvement up at the legislative session for 2014. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Zeb.
God bless.
See you.
Thank you, sir. I hated to cut him off because I really wanted to find out more about what's going on, but we're out of time. I want to say thank you to our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations here in the Magic Valley, with Founders Day celebration, helping you save money. That's right, great tire buys. Great tire buys. You can get passenger car tires starting as low as just $39.99, and you can get pickup and SUV tires starting as low as just $89.99. They've got the best in brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, you name it, it's all there, but they really excel in service, taking care of you. Be sure and stop in to the Founders Celebration at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family over in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Well, we're going to wrap it up for this week, and I want to say thank you again to a lovely lady over at the studio. She does not get nearly the praise that she deserves for an outstanding job, and that's Gina Jameson. Thank you, Gina. And hope you have a wonderful weekend with Kennedy and everybody else. And
hi, Sal, and you and Deanne have a wonderful weekend as well.
I'm just going to use it as one day at a time to do a little bit more, exercise a little bit more, walk a little bit more. We are getting better.
Good.
All right. You have a wonderful weekend. Everybody have the same. Zeb at the Ranch, K-Bar 1230, streaming live on the net, zebbell.com. We'll see you Monday at 8:06. And remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. See you then.